It's trucks.
Oh my god, is it ever trucks?
In my
It
head
is.
just now, I expected the guitar music to start playing in a manner that I could hear, but no, no, no. That happens later.
We have to summon the vibe
Yeah.
so that it matches later, which is part of our skill set as professional truckers. Since we've been doing this for so long, that is but one of the many things that we figured out how to do.
It's fucking incredible how good we are at this now.
Yep. I mean, we've had just a series of bangers, honestly.
It's true. It's true. We are on a hot
thus
streak.
bearing our souls.
Why are we jinxing it?
At my dad's birthday brunch, Leslie brought up that I put out a video entitled "They Fucked Us Up."
Uh-huh.
I believe that's how
They
she
F
said
you
it.
up. They F you up. Oh, that's how she said
Yeah, I
it.
know that.
They
Yeah,
fucked
yeah,
us
yeah.
up. Yeah, so taking it a little bit more personally. Right on.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I didn't even mention. I didn't even
Oh,
mention
yeah,
her. I
yeah.
don't know what that was about, but no. Everybody took it in the spirit in which it was intended.
Wonderful.
Um,
My parents haven't mentioned it. I wonder if my dad saw it. You know what you did.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Poland. I mean Ukraine.
What? We're in Salt
Colors
Lake
on the
City.
truck.
Oh.
The flag truck colors.
Okay, I didn't notice. I don't have the flags of the world memorized. What are we talking about today, Isaac?
You should know that from Dota. But yes, we are talking about the fact that you got a job.
I got a job, you know.
Josh got a job.
Not only that, but I got, the job I had kind of been gunning for quite a while. How wild is that? I'm
much the same way that I had been.
Barbacking at my favorite spot.
I'd been talking about becoming a mailman forever before I
Yeah.
actually did it, and now Josh has achieved something that we have been discussing for nigh on 10 years, on and off. And what's more, you're enjoying it.
I am enjoying it.
It's always the risk that when you get the thing that you wanted to do, that you're not gonna have a great time with it. But you seem to be taken to it, and the folks there
Indeed.
seem to be taking to you.
It's true. I think there's a lot of things that are different between your job and my job, but there's
Oh, yeah.
a couple things that are similar. One of which we've already discussed, which is that there are jobs that we have sort of an ideological attachment to, right? Which is
You have an ideological attachment to giving people alcohol.
I have an ideological attachment to the world of the night,
Indeed.
to the third place,
Le demi-monde.
to
Yes.
put it a little bit more seriously, but I mean, kind of this touches on the other thing, which I think is similar, which is that your job and my job both take place very much in the sensory realm,
Yep. They involve physical activity and interacting with the public.
Indeed. And this too, I think, is becoming a cause that I believe in. I think there's been
Getting some meat core down you. huh?
yeah. There's been a real natural high for me in kind of, I mean, not just, in my case, not just coming out of the pandemic and getting out there among the people, but also just coming out of the last,
Oh my god,
Six
that was
or-
much more intense than I thought it was going to be. I'm sorry. Please
was?
continue.
I don't even know what you're referring to.
Oh, my mic must have cut it off. I sneezed incredibly loudly.
Yeah, I didn't hear it at all. Maybe it'll be
Which-
on the file you send me.
It definitely will.
But yeah, where was I? I was talking
I'm
about...
sorry. You were talking about not only post-pandemic in terms of interacting
Oh,
with
yeah.
the public.
But also just for me, I've been not doing computer work forever, and I think that this is becoming increasingly true. I think I've certainly been encountering interacting with people who a lot of the customers have been going to the bar for the first time since the pandemic happened, and I think there's still a lot of apprehension, and I think there's a real kind of cultural shift toward you could almost call it an American hikikomori phenomenon, I think that
Sure.
there's going to be a stay inside anxiety that lingers with us for a long time, and what I'm getting at basically is that I feel that I'm doing sort of some necessary work in combating that, kind of making sure that there is a place to go where it's not it's not a little screen, you know, where it's the real thing.
Yeah. I definitely feel that as well. I have found that the part of my job that is in the end most useful for me, beyond the fact that it pays me money, is getting me out of the house and moving and seeing things and people. Albeit yours takes you to a different dingy cave, albeit a nicely furnished one.
Though the basement is not so nicely furnished. You've been down there once. You told me a story once where you went down into the basement of Lucy's Lounge. I don't know what it looked like back then, but
I imagine it looks much the same as it does today. Now I went down to the basement of Lucy's Lounge to wash the blood off my face after I got beaten up outside Lucy's Lounge.
Yeah, and Henry offered you a joint, right? That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's right. If it had been now, I would have taken him up on it. But
if it had been now, I would have said you definitely should not go downstairs to wash your face. You should do that in one of the upstairs sinks. But it's the basement has been in pandemic mode for a long time, and Henry's not around. He's in Nicaragua, and he just kind of threw a bunch of shit down there for us to sort out. And I've been spending much of my time just reorganizing the goddamn basement to make it a functional space again. But,
that reminds me of my last job in New York.
It's now very much my basement because I'm the person who most recently cleaned the sewage overflow out of it.
And you know where everything is.
Yes, it's my fucking nest. Monica was hanging out down there with me last night while I was juicing some limes, and we were, I have my little speaker brick down there. We were listening to a little bit of music and just relaxing amidst the fridges. Yeah, good times.
There's nothing like a Brooklyn basement. I've been in a few in my time, and they all have the same. At any moment, this all may descend back into the sea from whence it came. Feeling about them. They're extremely video gamey spaces in that they are cramped, dark, and full of stuff.
Yeah.
Of indeterminate origin and age.
And getting rid of all that stuff requires moving so much of the stuff in the way so that you could get at the other stuff. It's just interminable. It's a shit heap.
Yeah. Basement band practice from time immemorial. Very, very much redolent. I actually am having my first band practice in Portland since 2009 or so tomorrow. So that should be an exciting turn of events. It's apparently going to be 95 degrees out, and the space is very hot, or is very small and not cooled. Yeah. So it will be suffering, but in a nostalgic kind of a way.
Right
I
on.
got to pick up your plugs tomorrow for that.
Yeah, good idea. But yeah, I've really been taking to the work kind of in a way that I never really took to video game journalism, which was for a long time much more like what I thought was like my real calling, It's work which I'm video game journalism is work that maybe I'm more specialized towards, in which definitely has greater potential to pay out real money and health insurance and all that kind of stuff. And I've even been doing it altruistically for a long time, I've really found myself a cause to believe in there as well. But regardless of all of this, it's never given me quite the lift that being behind the bar has been given me. So,
this is a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a Tumblr post, which was one of those aggressive anti-boomer generational Tumblr posts. And I didn't entirely agree with it, but I felt that the spirit was in the right place. It was like, well, some of us actually want to be, I forget, there was like a list of, sort of blue-collar jobs, but they put librarian in there also, which kind of fucked with the point that they were trying to make, because you need a graduate degree to do that.
Yeah.
But, maybe some of us want to be barbers or whatnot, but, you've made, thanks to you guys, you can't make enough money to live doing that, so we have to do these soul-destroying office jobs instead. And, adjacent to that, I think that, with this idea
God. Trex is
it's
broken. I guess we're just powering through it.
I mean, at this point,
I just downloaded an update to this game. I hope this is the update to the game that's causing this, and not like my graphics card melting, which it's entirely possible that it could be. Hey, like the Rings of Saturn, which you.
I mean, this is
this one's
considerably
cooler
more
than
interesting
the last one.
than the last one. Yeah, so at least you'll have something fun to look at. It's unfortunate that it doesn't line up with the subject matter this week, but maybe we can pivot into something more broken later on. But yeah, no, there's the sort of idea, you know, in America, you know, every generation should be better off than the last generation. You know, country of immigrants, sort of a deal. And of course, we are famously the first generation that is going to be markedly less off than our folks were, at least until they, you know, die and stop hoarding all the capital. But not you, Dad. But I think that another sort of less talked about aspect of that is, yeah, I think that I'm better suited to my current blue collar job than I have been to any other kind of work that I've tried to do. And I'm better suited to this than I was to being certainly I'm better suited for this than I would have been for being a scientist, like miles more than I would have been for being an office worker. I think if I tried to be like a lawyer or write ad copy for a living, which are both things that I would have been able to do, I would have been pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Although, you know, it's hard to tell. I would have had a lot more money, which might have made me less miserable. But, you know, I'm not hurting right now. But it's like,
it's remarkable how hard it is to engage with the work you're doing, even if it's good work, which you can totally tell yourself is meaningful and make yourself believe is meaningful. It's just hard to connect with it if it's on a computer screen, I think. It's like there isn't really that immediate emotional attachment, I feel.
If I were feeling inclined to be Marxist right now, I would say that feeling is called alienation.
Yeah, it is, but it's not. That's not really the reason for it that Marx gives. I mean, I'm equally alienated from my labor at the bar in the Marxist sense, aren't I?
Well, I mean, maybe not equally. Like
No,
as
maybe
far
not
as
equally.
matters of degree go, you know.
Yeah.
We have to reformulate these ideas for, you know, post-industrial agriculture, but.
I mean, maybe I'm not alienated from it in the bar at all. I mean, the there's something special about bar work, I think, among the service industry professions, you know? Like, I'm not, this is a very important part of the job for me. It's that I'm not expected to be an undifferentiated service drone, you know?
Yeah, having a personality is part of your job.
It's way more grounded than that. And, like, it's having a personality is part of the job. And, of course, there's a professionalism to it, you know? Like, I can't really be outwardly rude to the customers unprompted, but
yeah,
I can tell them off
prompted,
if they earn it. And like
exactly.
if they talk shit to me, I can talk shit back a little bit, you know?
Right, and that's understood. That's part of the social contract of being in a bar.
Yeah.
Which is because everybody is presumed to be at least potentially out of control.
Yes.
And aggressive, whereas in other retail environments, people just are that, even though they're not supposed to be.
It's also just like part of what's being sold. I think like it's an environment where there's a certain realness, you know.
Does this? How does this dovetail with your thoughts about masculinity? I wanted to ask. Yes. It seems like, you know, it's not obviously exclusively a male profession, bartending, in fact.
No.
You know, but there is a certain, even for female bartenders, you are sort of expected to be able to get along in that very sort of masculine way, I think. Am I wrong in thinking that?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll need you to unpack what you mean by masculine in this context.
You know, there's sort of a bluffness about it.
Yeah.
Kind of a, you know, understanding but tough sort of feel that you need to have.
That seems...
Maybe it's a good kind of masculinity, actually.
It is, I think. I do think that women bartenders can have a different relationship with that, obviously.
But regardless, Lucy's in particular is kind of a bro-y environment.
It is. It's very working class, and it has a distinctly leftist slant. As I hadn't really quite picked up on that before I started working there, but every time a political conversation comes up, it's always like.
It is Brooklyn.
Yeah, sure.
Gowanus, specifically.
This is very much a neighborhood bar in in a neighborhood which is known for industrial properties. It's pretty
Right.
it's pretty close to the earth in that way. But yeah, the masculinity thing. In terms of my gender presentation, I think it's actually been a great opportunity for me to sort of perfect that performance. The nice thing about bar backing in particular is that I get to spend some time behind the bar interacting with customers, but also I get the opportunity to just sort of slip down into the basement and disappear for a while, so I can kind of
Right.
I can make myself a public spectacle in a way that I enjoy and in a way that my inner feminine enjoys, but also like have I mean this is probably a part of the feminine aspect of it. Again,
Yeah, I'm just going to put a big
the last time I
asterisk
spoke about this sort of thing
on this. This is all we're aware that this is all bullshit essentialism. We're just
No. I mean, what I'm saying here is like, I'm not even particularly trying to employ essentialism. I'm talking about my feminine aspects and my masculine aspects, and if they don't match yours, I don't care. But this is how I understand them inside of myself.
There you go. Speaking personally and
Yes.
not universally.
Yes, I think my inner feminine enjoys being a public spectacle, and also enjoys having my capacity for scarcity behind the bar be a part of that spectacle, And
Sure.
it's been working. I mean, I appear to be making impressions upon people. I don't know if you remember this one regular we have. I will say his name and bleep it. His name is. And people always refer to him by both names. He used to have a habit of like coming into the bar and howling out loud when he gets really turned up. Nowadays he seems pretty chill, and I'm actually coming to really like this guy. But I had a conversation with him the other day. Like I've been like using a folding fan to keep myself cool on particularly hot days or days where I'm working particularly hard, And obviously this draws comments. But he had he seemed very impressed, And I'm not even particularly doing it as a fashion statement. It's like, yeah, I picked a fan that looked good because if I'm gonna have a fan, I want it to be something that I think looks cool. But mostly I'm doing it because I feel like I goddamn need to, My body runs hot, and I'm doing...
This isn't coquettish, it's because you're drowning in your own sweat.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm doing, like, most of the physical labor that needs to be done while the bartender just kind of chills and makes drinks. So, yeah, give me a goddamn fan in addition to my sweat rag. But yeah, like, the ensemble that I'm creating with that seems to be resonating with this guy, and he had this whole conversation with me where he literally asked me, so wait, you're just like naturally beautiful? So in terms of my
ladies and gentlemen, he is.
In terms of my masculinity, I feel like I have an excellent opportunity here to kind of explore and perfect my presentation without being on the spot about it all of the time. Just
having
as much as I want to be.
Yeah, having the basement zone to retreat to seems like a real key element here. I would probably find this enjoyable but exhausting after a while. Mm-hmm. As I do most, social venues.
You can see how it fits with my kind of set of talents.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like, and on top of that, you're a person who's very easy to talk to, which can only be an advantage to you in this field.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it seems like a good fit. Are there any tidbits about the bar business that surprised you, or that
I hadn't
be of interest to our listeners, or is it perhaps a little too early to?
There's a lot of inside baseball. Fun little tidbits that some people are probably already familiar with. I hadn't known that the term for kicking someone out of the bar permanently is to 86 them, and that this
I did know that.
That number always you hear it mentioned a lot. The people who are 86th. 86th from a bar down the street from Lucy's. This is stuff I shouldn't say in public, really, but none of them know about this podcast, so for now I can get away with it. You know, everybody's got their fucking idiosyncrasies, and everybody's a goddamn gossip and an alcoholic, and also mostly a coke addict. And but here's the most important takeaway I've had so far. It's that right now, especially, definitely in Brooklyn, but I bet in most cities around the world, or, well, I should say most cities around the United States. I should say most cities around the parts of the United States that are getting vaccinated. There's a wave to catch, man. There is a natural high that is going around just from, like, people getting back out there, and like they're in a state of mind that they're never going to take anything for granted again, you know. And yeah, you know, like I don't know if you ever went to the place Mama Tried. It's like on 29th or something and 3rd Avenue, so it's within walking distance of our place.
Maybe.
Right now,
I don't recall.
it's like it's in one of those old school diners. But they've really fancied up the place, and it has a big yard and stuff. But yeah, like that has kind of become the spot, like the all-night party spot in our, pretty much for all of Sunset Park and Gowanus. And yeah, like after most of my shifts, I kind of end up there at least for a little stop, you know, on the way home. And
sure,
I've just kind of been getting to know the crowd, and yeah, everyone who's getting out there seems to be like feeling close to the best they've ever felt, and you know, I include myself in that for sure. And I guess the advice I have for those listening is that if you have the opportunity to go find this where you live, wholeheartedly I say do it, you know, if it's safe for you. Don't shut yourself off from it, for God's sake. I think a lot of bars are going to close because of the lingering reticence around getting back out there. And that's a shame, because it's such an important part of our society. I wish it weren't just bars, you know. I wish there were other places to go as easily as you can go to bars. I mean, of course, there's like meetup.com groups. If you want to play ping pong on a rooftop garden with some old people, like, that's genuinely chill. And if it works for you, do it. It doesn't work for me, though. I need that impromptu nature of just going to a place, sitting down, and like, no 2 nights are the same, you know. And that's what bars are good for. So yeah,
it's never been something that I've been. Well, me?
No, please go to your local establishments, is what I'm saying.
Right. This has obviously never been something that I've been particularly good at, but I don't know. I'm not feeling the best that I've ever felt. But I think that's largely because my life didn't actually change very much during the pandemic, for obvious reasons.
Mine didn't either. Mine changed after the pandemic. Well, after the pandemic, you know what I mean.
Catching that wave of the return to normalcy to get to a normalcy that you had never otherwise been to.
Indeed. Yeah. But I think a lot of people are there. Like, I think
everybody's been shut up in their houses, so everybody can relate to the feeling of having been shut up in their houses for.
But I think it's not. I'm not the only one who's like getting deeper into it than they ever did before. You know, even the people who are out there before, I think, are like experiencing it more deeply than they let themselves in the past.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'll be out there for a little while coming up.
Hell yeah.
And I look forward to walking into the bar, and
we'll give you some discount drinks.
Delightful. I will make a fool of myself.
Dude, Greg is so good at making cocktails now. That's, you know, Greg, right? He used to be the bar back there. Hard of hearing fella. He's been a much better teacher. Like, he's the only guy I've been working under so far. So he's basically my fucking mentor right now, in lieu of Henry being around. And he's actually awesome. He's
Probably easier to be menteed by Greg than by Henry. This is
Yeah,
so
yeah.
inside baseball, we probably should zoom out just slightly. This is very much Trucks as Josh and Isaac catching up.
Yeah, well, I think we're providing
can-
enough
we can-
context. I'm being trained by the guy who used to
Absolutely.
do my job. He's been at this bar for like 10 years. And the guy
can't-
who actually
God.
runs the bar, who isn't around, everyone complains about what an asshole he is to work with. He's always had a soft spot for me, so I'm curious
That's
about
true.
what that's going to be like when he returns. Also, having dealt with my mother, I'm kind of an expert at just making people feel bad for talking to me a certain way. So I'm like feeling ready for it. But yeah, it's I'm trying to provide some details about this adventure on because I think it's cool stuff. I'm not trying to be too inside baseball. I'm trying to give y'all something to hold on to about these personal details.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's good vibes, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say I was gonna say, man, maybe I'll take your advice and I'll go out and I won't. I absolutely will not. I know myself well enough, but
I think you should though.
I mean, I have been dealing with a fair amount of like generalized horniness.
Yeah. Hey.
There's a
You're not
way
the
to
only
channel
one.
that energy. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
kidding. Maybe time to go out there and be a grown up for once.
At the very least, just sit down at a bar that's not too busy. Talk to the bartender a little bit. Tell him you have a friend who's getting into the business. I don't know. Bartenders love talking about bartending, dude.
I got a neighborhood. I've got a neighborhood bar. It's right up the block, right across from the weed store that I always go to.
Excellent.
They
Oh my
serve
God.
decent food in there.
This is another thing. You've just reminded me of another thing. The the drug connections are insane. I'm sticking with my holding pattern of what I've been prescribed in weed. But as far as weed goes, man, I got my hands on some 100% indica. The deep indica, as I believe an early Dobro Abodal comic had it. It's what a treasure.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, now I guess while you talking about being a regular at the bar,
Mhm.
there's a real tension in me around that idea. From on the one hand being like, that sounds great,
Yeah.
it's like logging onto the old chat room when I was 13.
Yeah.
And seeing all those faces. I can't believe that's my touchstone for it. Can you? Unbelievable.
I mean, it makes
you know.
sense to me. These
Yeah.
spaces are few and far between, and you'll make those connections where they can be found.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, there's the mortifying ordeal of being known part of it.
For sure.
When I'm out of the house at the end of the day, I'm generally tired enough that I really sort of count on a certain degree of invisibility. And people knowing my name and remembering my face seems real stressful.
Yeah,
But, that's probably
Fucking-
something to work on.
hell though, you're a mailman. What a good shtick to have as a bar regular.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
way better
Norm.
than this other guy's fucking shtick. I was talking about this in the Horse Channel. You probably saw it. The guy who came in with his cat and just made everyone else take care of his cat in an environment which is definitely not safe for a cat.
Yeah, if you were live blogging the experience. The cat looked pretty chill.
The cat was cool as hell.
It was being taken care of by the community rather than by the person who brought it.
Yeah, I literally said to this guy, this isn't a very safe place for a cat, man. And he said, it looks safe right now, gesturing at his cat, cradled in the arms of another customer. And, what I didn't say is, that's because somebody else is taking care of your cat.
I mean, I suppose that the advantage of having a cuddly cat is that somebody will probably come around and cuddle it.
Oh yeah, this cat did not fail to be watched over for every second it was in the bar, right? It's extremely photogenic and very chill with people. But yeah, I talked about it with the boss, and if he comes back, I have to be like, no cats. We can't. There's no cats in here, man. I hadn't been clear that was the policy, and the bartender didn't say shit about it.
This is not a
Yeah.
bodega.
No.
Yeah. Although it's a miracle that bodega cats don't get poisoned.
Yeah. It is a miracle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably this cat would probably be okay if it did keep hanging around, but just can't chance it. Bars are liable for so much. Did you know this? If you get drunk at a bar and you crash your car and you want to press charges at the bar, or the person you crashed into wants to press charges against the bar, they can do that. The bar can be held liable. And so,
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
they are
This is why you
covering.
gotta cut people off.
Yeah,
when,
they're covering their own asses by doing that. I hadn't fully known that.
I believe I did. I was aware of that. As a matter of fact, bars can. I mean, this is tangentially related. My brother's getting deep into the sort of local music. He's on the board now. He volunteered to be on this board of these people who are trying to breathe life back into local music venues in Portland. And like the sheer number of things that a venue can be held responsible for in like legally and by the Oregon Liquor Commission.
Yeah.
Like a venue can be fined if somebody calls the police on somebody on the same block for an unrelated reason. And the amount of like basically any interaction with the authorities causes you to be fined or to have like points put on you and stuff like that. And because America is the way it is, that basically means that nobody is willing to put on black musicians in Portland, because it's basically signing yourself up for an automatic fine because the police absolutely will be there.
Oh my god, that's so fucked up.
Yeah, super fucked up. So my bro is trying to do something about that at the moment.
Good luck, Evan. That's a worthy cause.
It really is. It really is. Just trying to make the way that all ages venues are policed here around booze like significantly less Byzantine.
Yeah.
Because all of the theory upon which those policies are based is complete bunk.
And if you're running these places, it's a never-ending series of compromises with your risk, Like, yes, some people drive to and from the bar, and it's just like you kind of have to know who understands their limit, And that sucks. Like, it shouldn't be that way. And frankly, they probably shouldn't even be driving to the bar, right? But still, you gotta do your thing.
Yeah.
You can't kick everybody out because it's too risky to serve drinks to anybody, even though that would legally be the only perfectly safe move.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny. It's like the whole way that that minors serving alcohol is or minors being at events where alcohol is being served is handled here is just like, no, we have to keep them physically separated.
Oh my god.
It's like, no teenagers are going to the rock show to binge drink.
Well, some of them are.
There's so many easier ways to do that.
They're not. If the ones doing that are not there to buy the booze at the venue,
right? It's like it's insane to think that a teen who wanted to get his hands on some booze, that would be the easiest and cheapest way to do it.
Yeah. Buy an $8 Budweiser from.
Buy an $8 watered down. Gin and tonic at the local rock show, which they had to pay to get into. But yeah, no, it's all very interesting. Like, I love learning about this stuff because the more it's just, here's the way that society goes together.
Yeah, it turns out it's all duct taped together, and people interacting with one another is what keeps it standing up. Who'd have thought?
Yeah. The thought depresses me.
I find some solace in it in a way,
Yeah, no, I think that's the correct response. Mine is definitely maladaptive.
I trust people much more than I trust systems. That's for sure. So it's good to know that the people are the ones actually running the show, even if the systems fuck with them in all sorts of stupid ways.
Yeah. See, I've always felt the opposite way, but it is around the time of changing that opinion, probably. Where are we incidentally? We're somewhere in the northwest. I feel like I recognize this highway. Are we on 84?
Here, I'll pull up in the map.
We're not on 84, but we are definitely up in... Yep, we're nowhere near where I thought we were, but
We're on
that's
50.
yeah.
I'm gonna get the poker game happening again at some point.
Oh shit! I was just thinking about how I missed that.
It's gonna be an all
Partially
new crowd.
because gambling is fun.
It is.
That's thing one.
I
And
get
getting
to-
drunk with your friends is fun. I haven't done
Yeah.
that in real life in probably since I left New York.
There's been some games of dice that have like broken out in the groups I've been hanging out with.
Games of dice.
Yeah, right. I get to be the gambling snob who goes like, yeah, call me when we're playing a real game.
What is this? 1930?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
Care for a game of chance?
I don't know.
Where do you think your poker skill stands at this point?
Pretty good, actually. I've been playing the occasional tabletop simulator poker game with the California video game boys that I play stuff with, and there's actually this half decent online poker game called Prominence Poker that I've been dipping my toes into now and again. It's all fake money, so people play like assholes, obviously, but you can still kind of
Sure.
get some practice. You can learn how to make reads, keep track of the cards, you know. Keep yourself a little bit sharp that way. It's been working out for me. I played one hand, or no, I played one like little round. I mean, no, that's not the correct word either. Those are both terms that mean different things in poker. You know, I played one short game of poker, like during the afternoon one day. I was working while it was slow, you know, with the bartender and the bartender's lawyer friend. The bartender, Greg, he had never played before. The lawyer friend was talking a lot of shit. And I ended up that Greg gave me all of his money, and the bartender's friend broke even. And you know, the way I did it was just by folding a lot. You know, that's when you quickly get the read that like the guy is like talking shit and being a bully because he like thinks the folding is a sign of weakness. It's like, okay, you're going to make it very easy to give me all of your, or you're going to make it very easy to get all of your money because all I have to do is wait to have cards, and you're gonna bet on your pair, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I love poker. it's a good game, and I think I'm starting to get okay at it.
I love smoking. I am pledging my troth to civilization through these media.
Enjoy it while it lasts, baby.
As well you should. I mean, I don't know of any logic that moves in the opposite direction. But yeah, no, like I'm sort of between futures right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like any plans that I had about what I might do with myself once this is over are pretty much out the window at this point, and like this is now over-ish. I mean, the huge
qualifiers, but
yeah, of course, but like
if you're here in the Imperial Court, it's possible to go get something of a normal life if you're so determined.
But I also mean in terms of my job.
Oh yeah,
the insane part is over, and now I'm working the quote-unquote normal part, and I'm finding that I'm not making enough money doing it to live the way that I want to. And so I can either choose to go back to working an insane number of hours and therefore put off thinking about the future by not having any time or energy to do anything at any point, or I can start thinking about what I want to do next.
What's next?
Which,
do you have any candidates?
Well, it would have to be something that fulfilled the same, meat-based stuff that this job does for me, honestly, one way or another. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to go out and see what's around, and it might take years because these things tend to, but I don't I feel like I've got a pretty good idea of what this is like right now, and I'm like, let's do something else. I'm easily bored.
That is the trick.
I'm easily bored. I find myself wanting to go out and make some mistakes to force myself into making some choices, you know?
Yeah. I love the work I'm
is-
doing, but I am facing, sort of similar decisions in that I have to decide whether it's going to be worth giving up my entire weekend for years to come,
Yeah.
So
Your
it's-
weekend sort of also happens out there, perhaps.
It does, but you want to be able to hang out with people at the same time other people are able to hang out when you're like, oh, I'm out of fuel. We're
Yeah, you are.
fully out of fuel. We're in this.
Yep.
It's been a while since we've been in this situation, Isaac.
It does look like
Coasting.
it's downhill for a lot of the of the way. So, who knows?
Let's see how it goes. As I was saying, what was I saying?
I was just staring at
get
that
the
red
conundrum.
fuel gauge on the screen, being like, "Well, that's probably not good." But Josh knows what he's doing.
Definitely
Didn't really rise to the level of a conscious thought, if I'm being honest. Right through the light, yes, sirree.
Well, of course, you're not going
Uh,
to stop at the light under these circumstances. That would just be
Absolutely
insane.
not. Yeah,
Stop warning me
would
that I'm
follow
out
you.
of fuel. Let me see the GPS. What is this ahead of me? Is it a gas station?
It
Let
looks
me
like
see.
a gas station.
Let me see the GPS. I'm going uphill. Let me see the fucking GPS. It's not a gas station.
There's a gas station over on the left up there.
God, I need to look at the map. Okay, we'll do it this way. That is indeed a gas station.
Yep.
Oh, that doesn't look easy, Isaac.
No, it doesn't.
You know what? Okay, let's... God,
You got
fucking...
one shot at this.
It's the next...
There it is.
No, it's not here yet. I'm losing
Okay,
speed.
there's the Home Depot. All right. Oh God.
It's this left coming up, I think.
It's this left. Go for it.
No, it's not that left, it's the next left.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Oh my God. Oh my God. If you could actually pull this off.
oh, it's such a tight turn.
You could actually pull this off.
I just have to brake correctly.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, fuck.
No! You didn't break correctly.
Look, there's enough fucking slack on that thing, that pump.
You could have.
Look.
Yeah, that could reach.
The
Give me a
bright side
break.
is that since the last time this happened, I've learned superpowers. So,
Right.
what's the button?
Just-
We did it. I teleported the truck into exactly the correct spot.
There you go. Oh man, it's been a while since we've done that on trucks. That was.
It suddenly
That-
turns
that
into a
filled me
video
with this-
game.
Yeah, no, that filled me with a certain amount of glee.
I lost the train of thought that I was trying to maintain while that was happening. It's okay. I think the point I made was made clearly enough. Just whatever it was, think about it. Think about it.
Yeah, whatever the point that was.
Think about it.
And I have to say that whole adventure put it right out of my mind as well. I should not be playing this guitar.
Oh yeah, it was
I'll
the
be
thing about
everybody's playing.
weekends. You know.
Oh yeah.
Generally, the work-life balance problem. Even when you're out of my fucking way, you little sports car asshole. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. Yeah, like even in a job where like the work-life balance should ideally be answered by the fact that you're doing the job which feels like the life you wanted anyway. You know, there's still the time you're working and the time you're not working, and it's going to be interesting for me to untangle one from the other and like find the right balance. It'd be nice, I think, to eventually be bartending on like off days, you know. Have a weekend free, or at least most of a weekend free, and go into bartend on like Monday, Tuesday evenings. That'd be nice.
Yep.
I could go for that.
Particularly if you work at like a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm like, now that I have like at least a little bit of, predictable time to do things like see a doctor and, have social events. But even now, I'm like I'm trying to do everything on Sundays because that's the one day that I always have off. And it turns out that Sundays aren't, there's only so many hours in a Sunday, you know?
Yeah. And everyone's waking up for work tomorrow, so it's not really where the party's
Yeah,
at.
it's like, nightlife is not an option for me, period. I have to go to bed at 9:30 every night or else bad things happen.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to be like, I'm not actually that old right now, and to make some irresponsible decisions.
I love the creatures of the night. I've been getting to know them a little bit better. They're all fucked up. They're all a bunch of slobs, but they're
Of
great.
course.
They're like, what's? I'm sure I'm blanking on it right now, but there's some, maybe it's Twain or maybe it's Kurt Vonnegut. Some little flash of poetry for the peeps, you know, the fucking peeps. It's the peeps, man. They're living. They're living through their senses. And
You want to take another run at whatever that was supposed to be?
Nah, I think it came through
I
clearly
think
enough.
you summed it up. All right. As either Twain or Vonnegut said, the peeps.
Yeah, the
peeps are
peeps.
living.
They're peeps. They're living in their senses, and that's the place to live, man. That's what I'm saying.
Well, as long as the money holds.
Well, yeah. It surely won't. Something needs to happen for this bar and so many others like it to survive. So, I really fucking mean it when I say go and support these places if you have the temperament and the safety.
Yeah. And
The world.
disposable income.
It's a world worth saving. And it's in need.
Can you imagine how unbelievably tedious life would be if all we did was go to work and go home?
Oh my god. And we're fucking staring down the barrel of that. We really are. And like, even, I mean, obviously there's a lot of middle ground, right? Like, there's also the threat of just a world where most active bars are run by corporate conglomerates, right? Which,
Yeah.
fuck that, you know?
Seriously, fuck that. We don't have any, like, I guess that the one thing where America seems to be ahead of a lot of other places is that we have very few big chain bars here yet, you know.
The ones
The one
that we have
neighborhood
a
institution
kitsch.
that mostly remains, you know, independent.
There's like TGI Fridays and the Hard Rock Cafe, but these things are like,
Those are
they're
family
unavoidably,
restaurants.
yeah, they are family restaurants, but they're also bars. And
Yeah, like Dave and
the-
Buster's and Buffalo Wild Wings.
yeah, Hooters.
I
There's an
beg your
undeniably
pardon?
there's an undeniably cheesy thing about these kinds of establishments, and hey, I'm being bullied. Yeah, I don't think we'll ever put up with that shit becoming the whole thing. But still, they'll try. They'll try and make it the whole thing.
A dire warning to close out this week's trucks. By which I mean,
It's your moral obligation to drink. No.
I mean, I wish that alcohol didn't make me as sick as it does right now.
Yeah.
Which is still not very sick, but enough that, you know what it is? I don't like. I mean, I decided I didn't want to drink anymore, and the reason that is because I haven't had any fucking opportunity to drink with people. There's no point in drinking alone.
That's
Drinking
true.
alone is not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these
boy.
people drink too much. I like yesterday.
I mean, that's the major thing that I was worried about, is that I wanted to make sure that you didn't end up in that boat.
I'm drinking more than I was before I was working here, but I'm definitely being conscious about it, and I'm drinking so much fucking water. As like, this is the story. As yesterday, I had to really fucking bust it because we had all this like garbage recycling, just piles and piles, dozens upon dozens of bags, like just mounted in the basement, and finally we arranged for a garbage pickup, so we had to get that all out on the street through the service door, you know. And it was just a major physical test. And after we were done, I got back in the bar, and everyone was like, "You want a drink? You want a shot or something?" And I'm like, "No, I want water." I will drink water now, and I will drink booze later. And like, they all seemed surprised I literally said to the two people who were there who work as bartenders, they're like, I was drinking my water and I said, this is better than anything we serve. Which I don't think they appreciated. That's not the mindset, but fucking
Yeah.
no enemy.
Well, you have plenty of practice being a little bit of an iconoclast, and that feels like a good hill upon which to set your flag.
Mm-hmm. I did go to Mama's with them afterwards and drink a filthy dirty martini. So I'm still doing. It's not like I'm not partaking. It's just all things in the correct moderation.
Maybe I will wander down to the bar tonight.
Do it, man.
And see what happens.
Report on the scene, Tell me what it's like in there. I'm always curious to hear about these things.
Yeah, I got nothing else to do.
Maybe there'll be some asshole with a very pretty cat.
All right, and this has been a nice break from the heavy trucks of late.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.